Hey, it's Four with Playboy,
And my Playboys Bunny.
and what we're going to talk about today is kind of an esoteric subject. Which, as you're running game, and you get to know girls and women, is that women cannot take responsibility for anything, be it actions, words, outcomes.
Responsibility is overrated.
Responsibility, exactly. And for men, you go from anything from like men thinking women are basically men with long hair,
Yeah.
and different plumbing, to the more you deal with women, and really, it's almost like a different species.
Yes.
I mean,
we're not the same.
It's not just different.
We have different anatomy. We have different brain chemistry.
Everything
in between.
Everything is different. But so here's the deal. Women can be frustrating because they think like us or you, and they do not. They do not see the world through the same lens. And I had to ask MPB because there's reasons we'll get to women. There's things that you have to do to get women into bed that has to work with their lack of ability for responsibility, or you work with that.
Yeah.
For example, you have to give them plausible deniability because guys always go, well, hey, why can't we just, while we're having a drink, I just go, hey, you want to fuck? Because then she would be responsible for the outcome.
Yeah.
For women, you have to say, hey, baby, I have a midget, and it's in my apartment, and why don't you come on up and meet my midget? And she goes, okay.
Okay.
And there's no midget. But it doesn't matter because it has to just happen.
Yeah.
Women, for sex, it has to just happen, which is why we tell you guys to have a plan and logistics and help her have it just happen.
Yeah.
You have to make it happen. But anyway, so, I have an MPB here and being able to talk to her about women's brains and how they see the world. Because we go, well, when we say women can't take responsibility, does it mean you can't grasp the concept? And I don't mean because there's certain things that, different people can't, really recognize mentally.
Right.
The whole thing, be it the way their brains form. But explain to you how women, or why women do not take responsibility or cannot.
Yeah, and I think first of all, let me say caveat. I think that this understanding or this responsibility measure, I do think that there's a spectrum out there where some women, the more masculinized women, there are women who are better at this than others.
Can some develop it over time, or do they either show up?
I think they either show up with it or they don't.
Right.
I really do. I think that, yes, their environment and their maybe grandparents, their grandfather, their father, maybe teach them a little bit better, but they also come from those genetics. So I think that a lot of it is just part of the way they're wired. All that being said, for the most part, we speak in grand generalizations for a reason, because it speaks to the general population. Women, I don't think, can take responsibility because we are so used to things being taken care of for us.
From the moment you're born.
From the moment we're born, girls are treated differently than boys.
As they move through the world.
In every avenue of life. And I mean, I can say this as a mother of both genders. I can say you expect different things from your male children and your female children. It's just the way everyone's wired to take care of the girls. There's a reason when you exit a sinking ship, it's mother and children first.
Women and children.
It's all of these things, We just aren't used to having to take responsibility, and so why would we?
Exactly. It's literally never expected.
Yeah.
Never.
And we can get away with a lot. So there is definitely a fold of women who recognize this, and it's called playing dumb. You've heard it, you've seen it in action, and most of us know when we're doing it. You can get a lot out of things whenever you play dumb. I forgot my money. I guess I can't pay for this. I guess you're going to need to pay. I, forgot this thing that I didn't really want to do in the first place. So I'm going to say I forgot, even though it was all part of the plan that I wasn't going to show up to this thing and then just, beg indifference. All of these things, there are so many different bad decisions that girls make, either consciously or unconsciously, that are just because we absolutely are not wired to take responsibility.
And this comes out, and trying to prove the point, and I tweeted this earlier today.
Yeah.
Girls never have money.
No. Why would we need money?
A girl can be ready to go on a 2-week trip in a foreign country or a different state.
Yeah.
And you can say, how much cash do you have on you? And they say, none.
They dig in their wallet. They'd be like, let's see, $16?
$3, yeah. How much do I need? I mean, they literally never need money.
Well, tell them the story about the night that we went out for sushi.
Well, we go out for sushi. We're in a urban area, and guys know how much things cost.
Yeah.
And the next day, she and I are driving, and I said something like, like 2 appetizers over there and a drink. It's $100. She goes, $100? I was like, well, that's what we spent last night.
It might have been $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. Or 10.
I was shocked.
I mean, I was like, yeah, baby. I mean, to go out, it's $100 minimum just to show up.
Yeah.
And she was like, shocked.
Our bill that night was like $130.
It's always
and literally, we didn't eat dinner. We didn't eat dinner. Nothing. I was just like, what the actual fuck?
You can go out for 4 drinks. It's $100. And guys know that. But again,
I had no concept.
Girls never carry any money. And that's why you have to and that's why they're looking for strong men who can be leaders.
Yes.
It's not necessarily they want a CEO. They need a guy that they can rely on.
Yeah.
Moving through the world.
Yeah.
Because if she's having to make decisions, it makes them extremely uncomfortable.
Right.
And the more decisions you can make, they even may push back against you, but you just stand your ground, you take them with you. That's, it makes them uncomfortable to have to make decisions.
It does. It does.
And it's another reason, too, like dealing with girls you don't know that well, and they're flaky, and calling them out on their bad behavior. Don't bother.
It's absolutely pointless.
Girls do not care. If you're not fucking them and they want you to keep fucking them, other than that, they do not give a fuck about your opinion.
Well, and it is an exercise in frustration for you as the males to call them out on this stuff because they genuinely don't get it.
No, they just think you're being an asshole.
Yeah,
not the
being
fun
mean.
Kind. Not the fun kind. Yeah, you're not
hurting
the
their
dude that you were
feelings.
hanging out with. Yeah,
so, and they'll just ghost.
Don't bother.
Yeah,
don't bother. Girl flakes on you, or she's running late, or whatever. We give you tips on how to deal with women that are running late, but put yourself first. But don't bother calling girls out on bad behavior. It accomplishes nothing except it alienates them. Yeah. And they're not going to recognize what's going on.
And there are ways to, what would you say, punish bad behavior or reward good behavior. But that's really something, that's like a whole other
different conversation.
Topic. Yeah.
But once you realize that girls are moving through the world in a completely different, the way they see it, it's completely different.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to work with them.
Yeah.
And they'll let you, and here's the thing, they'll let you run the show.
Yeah.
I mean, they would much rather you run the show than them.
Absolutely.
And that's why when you kind of like come in kind of medium warm, lukewarm, kind of like a beta, it repulses them. Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't, hell, they got girlfriends. Yeah. They don't need another one. Yeah. That's why when you have that's where that alpha leadership, which make no mistake, you can run an army, you can run a business, and still be as beta as the day is long.
Right.
But when we say alpha leadership, it means like showing the girl which direction you're going.
Yeah.
And she follows along.
And this conversation also reminds me of, we have some female clients who are very strong independent women, but they are absolutely repulsed when the man in their life or someone that they're trying to date or whatever turns out to not have a strong leadership quality in in the relationship.
Yeah. I mean, that's the bottom line. No matter what a girl does, whether she's a surgeon,
Yeah.
she's a judge,
Yeah.
when it comes to romance,
Yeah.
when it comes to, intersexual interactions, she's a 13-year-old girl.
Exactly.
Every time. And that's why, and I kind of stumbled on it when, I'd go out with girls that were like, big corporate girls. And I just never asked them what they did.
Yeah.
I mean, and, for all they'd say, hey, don't you, I'm an attorney, right? And I'd be like, well, I thought you worked at Hooters.
Yeah.
And that would actually be better.
Yeah.
You treat them like a girl.
Yeah.
And they'll respond to that.
It's true.
They don't want to be a corporate girl.
They make the decisions in all other aspects of their lives. They don't want to make.
They don't want to deal with that. If you make fun of that, in a calibrated way, it's usually the best thing. They laugh.
Yeah.
They laugh because they know you get it. That's all they want.
I love the Harvard story.
Yeah, there was a guy that he was an attorney, and he said one of his partners was trained at Harvard, and she was, the Yale, then Harvard Law School, and very hard charging and very, attractive and moving forward. And she brought her husband along to a dinner for the firm, and he was kind of like a middle of the road, a failed local politician, and in the conversation, this guy says, they're talking about their backgrounds, and, he said to her, I understand you went to Harvard. And then the husband's like, oh yeah, Harvard. Right down on Boston Common. He starts making fun of her.
Just immediately.
And she's like laughing and slapping his arm and punching him. And the guy never did get to talk. I mean, the husband and the wife started messing around,
It's great.
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck.
No.
She's just some girl that went to law school. Great. Maybe she pays the bills now.
Yeah.
As long as she doesn't act up, he'll stick around and let her keep paying the bills.
I love that story.
Yeah. I mean, but
it's
it gives
indicative
you
of the way the girls operate.
No. Degrees, none of that. Don't ever act impressed. It'll just turn them off.
Well, and no amount of degrees mean that they want to take responsibility for their actions aside from their job. And make no mistake, even at work, even the most powerhouse badass bitches, boss babes, will pass that fucking buck.
They'd much rather have a guy in charge.
Yes, it's true. And in all fairness, we've talked about this before. This is going to get a lot of hate as usual, but almost never see a successful, quote unquote, women-owned or led business that doesn't somehow have a male.
There's always a male boss, husband, boyfriend,
influence,
mentor, manager, pimp.
Seriously.
That's in charge. I've only known MPB launched a food prep business out of nowhere, and I never saw, and I wasn't involved. In fact, I was purposely not involved.
Yeah, but in all fairness, that's also, it's almost like an extension of the fitness business. So you were still...
I never made any impetus,
Yeah.
And I know of one chiropractor who became a nurse and actually sold me a gym at one time. She's an outlier.
Yeah.
I don't know of anybody guiding her.
Yeah.
But if you describe her to like other women, they go, she sounds like she's mentally ill. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
sure. It doesn't make sense, you know? So there are outliers, very rare.
Yeah.
Very rare. All the rest, there's a guy in the background.
Yeah.
You just don't see him.
And you may never see him.
Yeah.
Because girls don't like to take responsibility.
No. Even that Toronto's that just went down, where the girl was a billionaire, and in the background was her boyfriend, who was a Indian multimillionaire that was kind of guiding her through it. And now they're both going to jail.
Exactly.
So that's the bottom line. Girls cannot take or are unable to take responsibility.
We're just not wired for it.
No, it's not that they won't. They can't.
It's true.
Big difference.
It's
true.
true.
It's like asking somebody to fly. They can't.
Yeah.
It's
true. Well said.
So keep that in mind when you're dealing with girls and something's going sideways and you're like, Why won't she take responsibility? Because she can't.
She can't.
No.
I mean, genuinely, she's just not wired.
Yeah. All right. So we hope you guys have a good day.
Bye.